Hello, welcome to Cooking Across America, Animal Food. Today we're making pancakes in the shape of animals. The recipe I found is one that was published in a newspaper cookbook during the Depression, and it's called a sweet milk griddle cakes. The one thing I will point out is that when it calls for 1 cup of milk, we're using sweetened condensed milk. If you do not want 1 full cup of sweetened condensed milk, you'll just, be way too sweet. So it's 1/4 cup of sweetened condensed milk and 3/4 cup of water. If you don't want to mess with all that, just go with a plain old cup of milk and life is good. So that's the first thing in, is the 1 cup of milk. Next in goes an egg. Next is 1 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I put them all in one little bowl together so they're just easier to mix. You can add a little butter because the sweetened condensed milk has got a lot of milk fat in it. I'm not using any extra butter, and I've got some olive oil in the pan, so we'll have plenty of fat to work with. And then you just need to mix it up. Now I may need to add a little more liquid to this because we're going to be using a squirt bottle to make the animal shapes. And so it needs to be a really, really thin batter. Tablespoonful of water. Okay, 2nd tablespoonful or so. All right, I'm going to go for my 3rd extra tablespoon. I think that will do it. All right, that seems pretty well mixed. You can go online and find squeeze bottles like the kind you would find for ketchup or mustard, maybe in a restaurant, or you can repurpose a ketchup bottle, which I happen to have handy. So while I've been mixing all this up, my pan's been sitting over here with some oil in it warming up. I think we're going to try and go for a giraffe. We'll start with the horns, head, a long neck, body, and some legs. We'll try for a little tail up here. We'll fill in this face a little bit here. And then you could use a piece of fruit for an eye. Now I realize that is probably one of the more awkward looking giraffes that has ever appeared on this planet, but or maybe it could be a llama or an alpaca or pretty much any other 4-legged animal you wanted it to be. If you've got really good artistic skills with your squeeze bottle, you can make great ones. If you don't, you kind of create your own animals as you go. We're gonna let that start to cook up and brown on the bottom and get some bubbles, and then we'll try flipping it and see what we get. All right, so you probably noticed that my giraffe did not keep all of his parts as I flipped it over. Having a really nice big spatula would be a good thing out now, or just make your animals on a much smaller scale. But it is cooking up really nice, and I'm honestly thinking he's kind of got some giraffe coloring as we're going, so I'll call that a win. So there you have it, a giraffe pancake. I think for my next one, I might stick with a worm. See you next week at Cooking Across America.